Hello, everyone. How's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's do a complete beginner's guide to Keep Driving, shall we? Keep Driving is a road trip RPG with roguelike elements, and it is a great storytelling experience, and I thought it's just such a unique and fun game. I have a Let's Play on it. I'm going to link it in the description below, so you could see me play the game for the first time and complete my first run. And there are some elements to the game that weren't clear to me when I first started playing that I thought I would like to share with you in a guide so that you can figure out, is Keep Driving the kind of game I might want to play, or maybe you just got the game and you want to play along with me and learn to play so that you can be successful on your road trip. So what we're going to do, I've reset my account to 0 so that I have no progress and the tutorials will be on, and we can work through things together from the very beginning. We're going to start a new game, and your adventure will be different than mine because of the randomized elements, but you can follow along to learn how to play, and we'll discuss things as they emerge. I'm going to talk about the controls, the UI, how to optimize your experience, how to handle the combat system in the game or the event system, how to pack your trunk, and some other tips and tricks and things like that that I've learned through my experience and from others on stream and in the YouTube comments, and kind of share all this wisdom in one package. So it's going to be a series where we're going to play the game together, and I'm going to, with the context of the game and the narrative of the game, explain my thought process and what's happening so that you can best understand it without spoiling how to get certain endings or things like that. Sound good? All right, let's dive in right here. The summer sprawls out before you as you're about to go on your first big road trip alone. It's the early 2000s. You've recently got your license. You're young. Take it easy. You have time. And that's kind of the spirit of the game. It's a throwback in that it's set in this, period of our recent history about 20 or so years ago. You're a young person, you're going to go on a road trip, and the road trip is meant to be meandering and fun and not something where you're trying to race to the end, but rather enjoy the journey. Alright, so right away, you're going to see these beautiful pixel graphics, and we are going to choose our character. And basically, you can either be, a man or a woman, gender-wise, and it's up to you. I'm just going to pick A, and we click Next. Then you're going to fill out some information about your background. So, what's your name? We're going to call ourselves Incomp. Incomp tutor. And then, hilariously, relationship with your parents. Do you want it to be really good or really bad? And I never had this come into play in my play of the game, but perhaps I think if you run out of money or you get stranded or something, your parents can bail you out. So that maybe is just a level of how easy the game is. I'm just going to leave it right in the middle for our tutorial. And then what's your occupation? So if you're unemployed, you start with this trait called Carefree. And traits are permanent passive bonuses that your character has that can synergize with other skills or give you really fantastic effects when they trigger, or they might be persistent. So this one right here says that if you get the Wanderlust buff, it restores additional energy. So that's nice. You get Carefree. You could be part-time mechanic, which means you start out as car savvy. So whenever you restore durability, you restore 1 mar. And your durability of your car is something that is one of the metrics you need to keep in line so that you're on a road trip. You don't want your car to break down and fall apart. So this is nice. It's very good to be able to restore your car better. Student means you start with 1 skill point and you gain a skill point when you read. There's books in the game you can get at pawn shops and other places. So you can go ahead and take time reading to get some skill. And those are your choices because you're young. So I like part-time mechanic just because it's useful. However, depending on how you're doing, your car doesn't actually take that much damage unless you're being incredibly reckless, but it's a nice fallback. And then what are you bringing with you? So you get to choose what your starting items are. Mom's Care Package gives you a full jerry can of like backup gasoline. Chocolate you can eat. Aspirin helps you with headaches. Banana is also food. And food does different things. Sometimes it just cures being hungry or starving, or sometimes it restores energy or tiredness, depending on what it is. And bandage is something that you use in a combat encounter to remove threat. So this is pretty good. My tools means you get a toolbox for repairing on the fly, some duct tape, which you use in combat, an apple to eat and the fuel, and then guitar and beer, which gives you a beer case, which is a lot of beer. It's a big item that you can sell. Same thing with the electric guitar. You can use this or you can sell it for good money at a pawn shop. And then cigarettes, which you or your hitchhiker passengers might want. And I like, honestly, I think of the starting package again. I would choose either Mom's or My Tools for your first play. We'll go with My Tools, just because duct tape is nice, and the toolbox can be useful if things are going badly, and it should synergize with our part-time mechanic to give us even more durability with the toolbox, so it makes sense. Now, when you start the game, the only car you have is this 1981 sedan that has 4 passenger seats, average trunk, average engine. So that means, including yourself, you can have 5 people in this car. Now, there are other cars, let me go back to this, that you can get, like this truck, when you clear the game, or this muscle car, but you have to beat the game and have some progress before you can get these other cars for subsequent playthroughs. I will tell you, this is something I did not know when I first started the game, but just for your interest, if you beat the game, and you come back to play it again, or maybe even if you die, I've never failed, but maybe even if you fail, you can choose to start the run with your upgraded car. So it's kind of like almost a new game plus, where any changes you've made to the car, any outfitting you've done externally for the cosmetics, or upgrades that you've done to the engine, the interior, the wheels and things, you can use to make your next run easier at the start if you choose. So it's not a full rogue-like in that element. It's more rogue-lite as you unlock stuff and you can make yourself a bit stronger, but you can choose to not use your carryover content if you want as well. So we're going to use this sedan, and this is just asking you to verify all of your choices here on your driver's license, and we say, yep, looks good. So now we get to the game screen. And we're not even in the car. This is actually one of the only times that you won't be inside your vehicle, if not the only time. Most of the time you'll be driving your car around, but let's just talk about what we see on the UI. So the bottom panel comes up, and it's got like a heads-up display that resembles the dashboard of the car. So let's look left to right. We have our energy, which reflects how alert you are, and over time you will gradually get tired. You use energy to play your cards or use your abilities in encounters, which we'll see in a moment. So you want this to be full. And your status, which is any buffs or debuffs that you have on your character, will be displayed here, and you can mouse over them for some further information. This is your cash. So we start with $75.50, and you can earn money by doing part-time jobs through an employment office, or doing favors for people, or selling items that you find, etc. And it's very important because you have to buy food, you have to buy gasoline, you could buy lodgings, etc. You could buy upgrades for your car. So you need money. You start with an okay amount of money, but this is going to go really quickly. And then you can see in the center, it's going to tell you what day it is, what time it is, what kind of a road you're on, country road, and what the weather is like. It's clear. Down here, you'll just see this car, and when you're moving, this will show you upcoming hazards and events and things to give you an indication of when encounters are going to happen. Of course, on the right, you see our gas gauge. This blue section is your durability, and you start at full durability. There's actually 4 little pips for each of these, so, generally you might lose 1 little blue pip on each square as the durability decreases. You can click on your glove box to open it, and you can see we start with some items. We have chocolate, we have duct tape, and we have chewing gum. So the chewing gum, for example, I don't believe that was listed on our starting items. I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong if you're a veteran Keep Driving player, but I think there's just a standard starting package that everybody gets, and then based on what starting package you choose, you add items on top of that. So we did get some chocolate. If you took Mom's, you'd probably get even more chocolate. And these items are in the glove box, meaning while we're driving, we can use these. We can use these in encounters. You have your gas pedal and your brake, which the brake will open the menu and pause the game, which you can also just get to by pushing escape. And we can click on our car. Well, I guess we have to be in the car. Let's go home first before we leave. Okay, so that confused me. I thought I was clicking on the house, but I am. I'm inside. Okay. So, sorry, it's been a while since I started the beginning. What you do is you click on your house, then you go inside. It confused me because it showed the car. You're going to start dragging items from your house that you want to pack into your trunk. And the tutorial tells you this. So, you can just click on your toolbox, for example, and put them into your trunk. Additionally, though, you can grab an item and you can push R to rotate it so that you can put it at the floor in the back seat area of the car, or you can put it in your trunk. This is a pro tip that I did not know when I first played, but you can actually right-click on the seats to fold them down to get even more storage space, and then right-click on them again when you want to bring them up. Now, people can't ride in the seat if it's folded down, of course, but it's really nice. And we're going to take our duct tape. We're going to take this apple. It does not matter where in the car you put it, by the way, for accessing it. It's just about playing inventory Tetris. And then this letter, which you need to read. And I messed this up and didn't read this on my first play because for some reason I was like, I'll get to it later. And I got distracted, as I often do with my distracted mind. But read this letter right away. So right-click on it to interact with it and click Use. And it says New Journey Way Out Festival. So you click and hold to rip open the envelope, and you get a postcard from your friend. It's odd to get a postcard inside an envelope, but never mind. Hey, are you coming to the festival this year? I heard you got a new car. Fun. You can buy a ticket in any big city. It's kind of a long ways away, but you'll make it. Don't forget to sleep and fill up when you're low on gas. I was stranded once or twice. It's not too bad if you have some money. See you in 4 weeks. So this is the main story quest, which is to get to the Way Out Festival. We need to find some place like a big city to buy a ticket. We probably want a tent for this long festival, and we need to actually make it all the way across the map to the festival to get this victory. Now, there are multiple ways to win or lose the game, depending, and there are rewards for different endings. So, without spoiling anything, this is kind of, as we figured out on stream, a game where you're trying to collect all of the endings. And there are different conditions you have to meet to get certain endings. This is one of the endings that you can get, which is to actually go to the festival. As you drive and meet new people, other options will emerge that may not be obvious, but this game can do that to you, which can mean not really give you a warning about what the outcome will be, and you just have to live with the consequences. So be aware that there are different ways to win this game. All right, so we're going to say accept. And now you can see on the map, this is the festival. The star means the final quest, the festival, and it's pinned. When you go to your journal, you can click on your calendar, to look at the calendar and also your tasks, and then you can match up the pins to those tasks. Now, I'm going to actually scroll the map all the way back to where we are. This is pointing to a big city where we could buy a ticket for the event, and we are here where the red pin is, indicating that we're starting at our house and we're about to go out on these country roads before we get to the motorway. The different kinds of roads are important for your tires and for the events that you'll encounter. And right now, there's really only one thing we can do, which is to drive east on Route 90 to this kind of gas station here, or whatever R90 means. And I'm going to close the map by pushing escape. Now, we're in the car, and they're telling us we can drive back and forth with A and D. You can also use the arrow keys, or you can hold right mouse and kind of like move around like this. I use W and D. That's kind of how I drive, or A and D rather. Now, when you're moving your car, you can normally click on it, but we're still in a tutorial, so you can't, and we need to move out. So we say goodbye to Ma and Pa, and we are driving. Now they're telling us we can click on the car. So you see how when I mouse over the car, the hand icon appears, and we get this radial menu. This will expand with more options, but for example, you can click on the trunk, and it says you can right-click on an item in your trunk to use it, like if we wanted to right-click on the toolbox to use it. Now, our durability is full. We don't need to do that. The apple, as you mouse over it, it says it cures hungry and it's fresh. Hungry is a status affliction that you'll get. It's a debuff. You'll see like a kind of a apple with some bites out of it for hungry, and you want to get rid of that so that you don't suffer from starvation, because it makes you, or starving rather, because it gives you much more significant negatives to be starving, and an apple will take care of it. Now, when you see the apple, the tooltip kind of displays in the center of the screen on the heads-up display, and it tells you it's worth 1 cash if we sell it, and it has 2 uses, so it's full. It's got 2 out of 2 uses, and you just right-click and use it if we needed to, but we don't. The other thing that's nice about this screen is that you can click on passengers if you have them and get information about them. You can rearrange items, and if you go up here to the top where it says trunk, if you click on upgrades, you can see kind of like the paper doll for your car and all the different upgrade slots: the interior, the roof, the engine, the front utility, the utility in the back, and what tire you have. We have just the basic wheels right now, and then any cosmetics and bobbleheads you have fixed on your car. You can close this up, and you can also click on your car to see the calendar. So this is your quest log, and the only quest we have is the Way Out Festival, and if I click on it, it'll open it up. It'll show me the 2 pins. You can click on these map pins to show you on the map exactly where you need to go for this. This allows you to turn on or off the color-coded pins on the map to see where you need to go. And then if you click calendar, it'll show you that, okay, so this is the current day, and then this is the date that this objective for the Way Out Festival is due. You can click on this to see what the deadline is. It's the Way Out Festival, so that's our final quest. So we do have, indeed, 4 weeks to drive around and get there. Plenty of time, because it's not a journey that takes even close to 4 weeks to get, but you'll see as we get sidetracked along the way. Once you've got a destination, you click leave, and if you don't have a destination, the exit sign will just say exit, and then you'll need to select a destination. So you can preemptively select a destination on the map, and you can't select beyond the closest node to you. So right now this is the closest node, so if I click on this, it'll be like, do you want to leave immediately? And you say yes, and you see how it circles it on the map, and now we are rolling. We're driving. Sorry, 1 second. Unfortunately, I have to click streamer mode and turn this on, because the music is copyrighted. So if you're going to make videos on this, just make sure you turn this on. The music is awesome in this game, but it's copyrighted, so I can't have it. YouTube does not like it. And here we go. So when you're driving, you don't have to do anything. But as you see the hazard approach, there's a tractor in the road. So now we get into the road phase, and it tells us peaceful humming, and it tells us this is a road event, or a combat event is how I sometimes refer to these, because it's kind of like the game's version of combat. These symbols that represent the road event are called threat. Each threat corresponds to one of your resources. Energy, which is like the green person, cash, which is the cash symbol, durability, the blue tire, and gas, which is the gas symbol, and they're color-coded. These are your skills, which are hanging from the rearview mirror. You need to use skills in order to remove the threat. During the player phase, you can use one skill. The dots show how many uses a skill has, so the pips display how many charges you've got left for the skill. If you run out of uses of a skill, you need to rest to replenish them. The skill can't be used until you rest, as it's telling you when you're out of uses. The bottom icons show what type of threat the skill can remove. White star icons can remove any type of threat. They're like wild cards. X icons remove no threats. Use the skill relax and align it with the threat in the bottom to remove it. Click and drag the skill to the threat icons in the bottom display. So, first of all, let me just explain a few things about the game. Once you get into combat, unless you're driving drunk or on drugs, you have unlimited time. So, because it looks like it's moving, like the tractor's moving, the car is moving, but there is no urgency at the moment. You can really think about what you want to do, cycle through your abilities, look in your glove box, evaluate all choices before you make your decision. If you are driving under the influence of anything, then there is a timer, and if you don't act in time, the threat resolves. So basically it's like you take a turn, and then any remaining threat from the event takes its turn and will do damage. So you see how there are these threat symbols. You can mouse over them, and these warning symbols say this will damage you by 1 unit, and it'll damage you in the category that represents that corresponds with the threat. So it's like, if I didn't do anything right now, I would take 1 gas, 1 durability, 1 energy, 2 durability total. So I would lose 2 pips of durability, my gas would go down more, and I would lose energy because I'm not resolving the threat. So the game kind of is like a deck builder in a sense, is how I like to think of it, like you're playing cards from your deck, except they hang up here. There's no shuffling, you can use any of your cards at any time, but they have limited uses. You start out with very few abilities, but as you level up, you're going to get more of them, and as you take on passengers, they also have abilities that you can use. In addition to using your abilities that are hanging from the rear view, your character abilities, you can also use these utility items in your glove box to help resolve threat, but right now they want us to use relax. And if you mouse over relax, you can see in the rear view at the top center of the screen, it tells you what the name of this is, it tells you how many uses you have in the upper right corner. We have 4 out of 4, and it tells you what threat it removes. So what you're going to do is drag this down here, and you can see this little, once you start dragging it, it minimizes to chain boxes that you're trying to match up. So if I wanted to drop this here, I would drop it and it would remove the energy threat and the gas threat, but it would not affect the durability threat because there's an X in the middle. However, if you do this, this is what's called a perfect match. And if you get a perfect match, you actually get to take another turn. So it's a really fun game where you're trying to like match things up perfectly so that you get that extra turn and can minimize all the threat. Now, unfortunately for us, there is no way for us to defeat all of the threat. We're just starting out. We're not very good at driving yet. So we're going to do what they say and place this here. Now watch what happens. We get the perfect and get an extra turn. When each of the skill icons remove threat, you get a perfect hit. When you get a perfect hit, you get an extra turn. This means you can use another skill this turn. Some skills have costs. It is shown here. Go ahead and use the Have a Go skill to remove another threat. So Have a Go is a skill that you're going to use for the majority of the game, if not the whole game, because it's so versatile. It's just a wild card for 1 energy. Now, part of what you're doing as you go through these encounters is understanding the trade-offs. I mean, you might say, well, if I use have a go, it uses an energy, which is the same as if I took an energy threat, which is true. So, like, it's a 1-for-1. But because it can be used on anything, and because it can trigger a perfect to give you an extra turn, it's just a fantastic skill. And this is a lot about trade-offs, and until you get a good selection of skills, some more passengers, it's hard to get through some of the encounters without taking any damage. So now it's choosing, like, what damage do we want to take? I personally like to take durability damage over gas because gas is expensive. And remember, we have a toolbox in our trunk. We also have a gas can in our trunk, but because we're a mechanic, we repair durability faster. You know, we're more efficient when we repair durability. So I'm going to actually use this on the gas threat so that I don't lose any gas. I will tell you that if I wasn't in the tutorial, I would use my duct tape right now to remove 2 threats right here to remove both durability threat, but that's not an option. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and just drag this down and get rid of the gas threat. It's perfect. Great. Even though you got a perfect hit, your turn will end. So you can't chain perfects indefinitely. You can get it to a point, if you're happy, for example, where you can get a 3rd turn, but that's not what we have right now. So we just get 2 turns, and now the threat will resolve. You may only get 1 extra turn each player phase. On the road phase, the threat with a warning will attack you. Each threat deals damage to its corresponding resource. There are different kinds of threat warnings. So it's kind of like Slay the Spire, where you can see the enemy intents, and then you have to use your abilities to mitigate the incoming damage or effect or whatever it is that's coming at you. You can hover over them to see what they do, or check a full list by pressing the question mark button on your dashboard. We'll look at that. So bam, durability, bam, durability. After the road phase, something will happen and the threat warning will be displayed. You defeat the road event when all threat is removed. So you can see it says move attacks this turn. So now the attacks are going to move around. And you can escape from events by holding down the gas pedal. Before escaping, each threat will damage you. This is your glove box. You can place small items here. Some items can be used just like skills during road events. So what we're telling you is if you have a horrible situation, you can just hold down the gas pedal and leave the event. However, every one of these will trigger. So that's not really good. We took 2 durability damage. We took an energy damage. And I'm going to use my duct tape from the glove box. You see how I have 5 uses with this. It's actually quite valuable. It's worth 9. It's a good item to sell if you have a bunch of extra. But it's also super useful. I'm going to drag it over from the glove box, just like a skill, and we're going to select the 2 durability threats that are emerged. Now, you could see when you're highlighting this, your ability or your item from the glove box, over the correct corresponding threat, they glow. And then the X is just X'd out. But if I do this, we get a perfect because we hit a threat that had a warning on it. And then now we have just 1 remaining threat. You actually have an interesting choice here, which is that you can use relax or you can use have a go. Have a go will take an energy. Relax is quote unquote free, but have a go, you can see, is unlimited, so you can use it whenever you want, whereas relax only has 4 charges and we've already used 1. So again, it's just good decision making. It's up to you which one you want to use. I'm going to use relax. I'm just going to drag it down and take it down. Got it. Now you see Wanderlust, we got energy restored. And on the bottom, an event is coming. Sorry, there's a lot to talk about. It's a rainbow. So there's a beautiful rainbow back there, and it's going to distract you, so you got to pay attention. Now, this is, what's great about the game. even when you're not in combat. You're just driving. You don't have to push anything. And it's really just kind of about observing the beautiful, pixel art world that you're in, just like you're on a road trip, checking things out. And yeah, the rainbow catches your eye, and you're distracted, and you could, crash or something like that. This is the kind of game that, there's going to be roadkill, there's going to be stalled vehicles, traffic jams, tailgaters, all kinds of things that can distract you that you have to combat. So if you click on this question mark here, it does tell you what all of the threat warnings mean. And right now we're only seeing attack threat warnings. And we got Wanderlust, which gave us an energy back. So that energy that we used didn't even matter. We restored it. There's lots of ways to restore energy. Actually, eating food, most, if not all of the time, it will restore your energy as well. It doesn't list that it does that on the tooltip, but it will. So when you eat, because you're hungry, you'll also get some energy back, and you can eat a few things to get energy back. Most food will do that for you, to a point. If you have energy burned away because you're tired, that will not be restored by eating food unless you're drinking something caffeinated like coffee. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, we have a wild card of threats coming at us. And we don't really have anything great to play right here. So we have to choose which threat we want to eliminate. And I think it's worth mentioning too that, like, let's say for example I eliminate this cache threat, then when you eliminate a threat, the remaining threats pinch together, so it will change the layout of the threats, which can affect your abilities because they all have a position. So you might want to think about what the position is before or you play something and edit your sequencing if you need to. Right now, I'm immediately going to use Have a Go to get rid of this cache threat. I don't want to lose any money at all right now, so I'm going to get rid of that. And now it's a question of, well, what do I want to get rid of here? Do I want to get rid of the durability, or do I want to get rid of the energy? I'm actually going to get rid of the energy, like so, by using my relax, and then now we take some durability damage. Now we become unlucky, and it just kind of tells you in orange, like, each round there's some new variable that's introduced that can do something good, can do something bad, can do nothing at all. It'll just tell you. And even though there's a timer ticking there, you're not under the gun. You don't have to do anything. You're just kind of looking at that. And however, if there are certain events that are going to obscure your vision, sometimes it'll like cover up what the threat is, and you need to pay attention to what they are before it hides them from you, so that you know where to place your abilities and items to get perfects and remove them. So right here, kind of a bad spot, but I can use Have a Go here, and then I can drop Relax over here. We got Wanderlust to restore our energy, and we became Inspired, which says the next energy cost is reduced to 0. So there's vague lines coming up. So we have another event that we need to deal with. And they shifted around from their initial positioning, which is kind of annoying, actually. But you see now, Have a Go is just free. When you have a situation like this, where there's only one threat that's being attacked, if you take it out, then you don't have to worry about anything happening at the end of the turn, and you can really not pull out your big guns or do anything risky. So I'm going to go ahead and do this just to get rid of that. Perfect. Now, Relax I can't use until I rest again. It's totally tapped out. I have 2 gas threats and a energy threat. So what am I going to do here? Well, I'm going to use Have a Go again to take care of a gas threat, and turns over. So The lines are vague. Let's use have a go and get rid of the energy threat. We got a perfect, and we're going to use have a go again to get rid of this, which will give us, perfect and get us out of this encounter. However, it will take an energy, make us tired. All right. Now, I'm going to click on my car and click on the trunk. I'm going to show you something. At any time, well, I don't want to say any time, but most times, you can click on your car, click on the trunk to pull over. When you're pulled over, it allows you to use items that are in your glove box, for example, or in your trunk. So if I want to eat this apple to restore energy, I could. I can also use this repair kit. So if I right click on it and just say use, look at my durability, it's missing 3 pips, and I actually get 3 instead of, you see how you mouse over it and it says 2 durability? Well, we're car savvy, so we restore 3. So our car is now fully repaired, and we could eat this apple if we wanted to. But we really want to save this until when we're hungry. The chocolate will give us 2 energy when consumed, so we can eat this to get a little pep. And now we only have 1 charge left, but you see how we got 2 energy. So, very nice. And I'm okay with this, so I'm just going to kind of push escape, close this up, and we start going, and funnily enough, I didn't really need to do that because we immediately are pulling up to a stop, but I wanted to show you what you can do on the road. Now, this is a person who is by the side of the road. You could talk to them. Hey, if you're going out on the road, you better be prepared. You got to have a journal to write stuff down in. Oh, and a music player is necessary. So, our car menu now has journal, rest, and music. So, we are stopped. We'll click again, and I told you that this radio menu would expand. You could change your music. You can look at your journal. The journal actually allows you to equip new skills and learn them. Right now, we only have the basic skill tree, but there's many other skill trees that we can access. And you could see up here with these clips that are hanging down, your character can have 5 abilities equipped. Right now, we only have 2. We have 1 skill point that you get from reaching destinations, doing objectives. And if we had 2, we could unlock another ability. Currently, we don't, though, so we're just going to close this up. We can click on this. This allows us to sleep in the car. It takes 1 durability from the car, but gives you 5 energy, which is great, and it refreshes your skill uses. However, it does pass time as well in the game. Time matters because, for example, your final quest is under deadline, but also time of day matters. It's easier to drive in the daytime. Different things happen in day and night. So plan accordingly. We don't need to rest right now. Our energy is great. We are burned out on our skills, but I'm still not thinking it's the ideal time to rest. I usually like to wait till I get to a destination to rest. And the other thing about resting, let's do it anyway. 6:45 p.m. is it makes you hungry, or it doesn't necessarily make you hungry, but time passes and you become hungry. So normally I wouldn't just rest on the side of the road, but we're not at the side of the road. It looks like we are. It looks like we just stopped, but we actually reached the destination. And now you'll know you're at a destination when you can actually move your car and drive. You can't leave it, by the way. This is the end to the left. And as I drive, you see there's a gas station, there's a little shop here, there's a van, and then there's a sign. This means you're at the end, and you need to pick a destination. There's not much at this stop, but there's this person who gave us tips. We could talk to them again. Hey, good luck out there. Thanks. This is where you can fill up your car on gas. We got money, so let's do it. You can see how full you are. We're at 92.3% on our gas tank right now. And then you just left click on the pump and hold it, and then you can fill up as much as you want. You don't have to buy the gas that you've pumped. You can click X to just reset it and try again if you want to get a different amount. Or if you like the amount, for $4.50, I always call it dollars. I don't know what denomination of cash this is. For cash and 50 cents, you can just click accept, And you see we fill up our tank. And the money goes away. Boo. Now, it was a good idea to rest. Because even though we haven't been gone very long, we used all of our skills. And we need our relax to get us through without having to use a bunch of items. However, you don't have to rest. If you want to just rely on your items and your give it a go skill, that's fine too. Now, here's a shop. We can go inside. And there's actually quite a few things that you can purchase here. You need to mouse over them to figure out what they do. So, some of them, like multi-spray, are good for events, and this cures 2 durability that are next to each other. Very nice. The gum is good for energy events, and you could see also the fruit candy does energy X energy. So you would put this in your glove box to use in an event. The sunglasses you can buy, put in your car, and then wear them, and then you won't have any trouble with sunlight events. These steering wheel covers you can buy and equip them on your interior slot to make you immune to distress status. However, you need a garage to equip most features to install. Maybe you can equip this one without a garage, but usually you need a garage to change your upgrades and your tires and things like that, unless you have a jack. There is chocolate. There's coffee that restores, cures 1 stack of tiredness. But the thing about coffee that you need to be aware of is that it gets cold if you leave it in your trunk too long. It can also spill. So you need to be careful with certain beverages. You can buy a beer for, well, certain events. This might be a good idea, but generally not your best friend if you're going to be driving, which you're doing the whole game. Coke restores 3 energy, but then it makes you tired. And it's a cold drink, which means if you get hot, drinking a cold drink will cool you down and cure that status ailment. But let's buy some food. Rope is actually pretty good for exploring. So there's times when you can go explore, like in the woods or something, on foot. And if you have rope, it can help you get over rocks and things, find more items. Pretty nice. I'm going to buy some nuts, and they cure hunger. You have 2 charges. I'll buy these sunglasses, put them in the back. You can buy this pennant. It's a utility upgrade to give you a discount, but if you want, to get cheaper prices at gas stations. And I'm actually not going to buy anything else at the moment. I'm going to right-click on my apple and use it. And you see that the hunger debuff, which is here on the status bar, is now gone. So we're no longer hungry. And there's 1 charge left on our apple. I'm going to try to save as much money as I can because it can disappear quickly. Push escape. And I'll drive over here to my man in the van and talk to him. Hey, what's up, dude? Glad to see another fellow road tripper out here on the road. Where are you off to? And he gives you some music. So, you get a new CD that you could switch to. Heading back on the road again soon. Alright, so we're done there. Now, if I push map, I can actually just click on this destination, circle it, and then you'll see that the road sign actually changes to reflect my destination, and I don't then have to do anything but click leave. And it'll ask you, do you want to keep driving there? And you say, yeah, sure. And here we go. Now we're driving. And you can see on the bottom here, as the road moves, there's going to be an event coming up. Speed cameras. They're coming. Alright. Strike a pose. Exactly. Alright, so the speed cameras flying at us. You see we have our sunglasses on. I love that our character wears them. And what we need to do is take out both of these gas threats so we take no gas damage for the speed camera. So I'm going to use have a go on this one, remove it, and then I'm going to use relax over here. Now I didn't use relax before because I want to ensure that I get it perfect. And then now, follow the rules, order all threat. Sure, order it. I'm going to use have a go. It's the only thing that works here. If we would have bought the lottery ticket, it would have helped in this event, but this is fine. And we're just going to use have a go again. You're going to, like I said, you're going to be using this a lot at the beginning, especially. We got it. And look at this. You could stop or keep driving. I'm going to stop for the hitchhiker. I like the hitchhikers because some of them are not good, and you don't want them. But, well, I shouldn't put it like that. Some of them are harder to deal with than others, and there are objectives for completing the quests that they give you, and they make the game more exciting and interesting because you have conversations, they have new abilities, they give you quests and things. So I like to take them on. This one says, "Hi, look, I got her pretty flowers. I'm going to my sister. She's far away." All right. Will you take me? So, this guy's name is the Idiot. Nobody has a real name. They just have a the name. And the way he just stood there and stared out into the horizon made me a bit worried for him. I wasn't sure he was all there. He said he picked some flowers for his sister and was waiting to be driven to her. Okay. So we definitely want to help this guy out, even though he may murder us, or he may murder us in our sleep. And to be honest, that's part of the allure. I always dream of this, like with Jack Kerouac's On the Road or whatever. There's some kind of period where you can actually take a hitchhiker and it's a reasonable thing to do, as opposed to, the certain doom that it implies now. But anyway, in this game, I like to take hitchhikers. So this one has an ability, which is what? And it says, Swift. If the ability removes 0 threat, gain happy. So what you do, a Swift ability means you use it and it doesn't take your action. And this doesn't do anything except makes you happy. If you're happy, you can get that third turn. So this is funny. So just for amusement's sake, let's take them. And you just drag them into a seat in your car. And this person needs taken care of. So let's put them in there. And then once, if you like it, you could click kick out at any time to get rid of them. They also have this passive OCD, which means they'll sometimes organize the threat and shift it around. Okay, fine. We're going to close this. And we can now keep driving. So it doesn't matter where we have the Idiot or any passenger. You can put them in the front, the back, wherever. It's just your choice. And we're stopped. So we can close this. And now if we exit the trunk in this way, we will begin moving again. So it might be important for us to click on this really quickly and you could check the calendar while you're driving. Visit Sis is an objective to drive the Idiot, and we could click on the map and we could see that actually it's very close. We're going to this destination. You can see our progress. We're almost here. And then he wants to go over here. So sometimes you don't have to take people very far. You could see this event is passing. We're going to have a new one. And sometimes it's not always an event that you have to battle. But it's something like this, which is just, so funny. It just captures when you're driving and you just start following these trains of thought and being introspective. And here we go. I really am amazing at driving. And you have a choice. Sometimes you have more than two. I've been keeping the speed perfectly steady. And this car isn't the easiest to drive either. So you can respond however you'd like. And based on your answer, you'll get a buff sometimes or a debuff. So let's see what happens if I say I've been keeping the speed perfectly steady. You hold the wheel steadily with confidence. And we became happy as a result. So that's good. So look at that. We got skill points. Don't forget to open your journal to learn new skills. You can access your journal from your car menu. Oh, and if you're out of skill uses, you should probably rest. So we already rested, but we can go to the car menu, go to the journal, and now we have 2 skill points. So we can't buy this because you need 4, but we can buy new driver. And this unlocks this skill right here. You can right-click on it. New driver. It's a basic targeting skill. It targets 1 durability. It costs 0 energy to use, and you get 4 uses of it. So it's really nice. You might as well have it, right? It kind of reflects that you've been driving a bit, so potholes or other durability hits you can avoid. And you can always check what your buddy has. Now, you can't alter what skills or ability they have. They just get passives and active abilities as they level up. And your passengers or your hitchhikers have 3 levels. 1, first, second, and third. So right now they start at first level, and you'll see they gain experience as we go. All right, and now it's a question. We need to think about, do we want to buy gas? And we're actually okay. And we got a little bit tired. So you can see right here, the positive buffs are going to have a green box, and this progress bar around the outside of the box, the border, as it goes black, it means it's wearing off. And then this is our tiredness. Now, this doesn't have a timer. It's just going to be tired unless we reduce it by resting or by going ahead and getting some coffee. So let's go into the gas station. And sometimes, unfortunately, they don't sell coffee like this one. They do sell Coke, but for whatever reason, it doesn't restore tiredness. It's worth mentioning that you don't have to feed your companions at all. It's just you that you have to feed, basically. The energy bar, though, could be stead to reflect everybody's, in the sense that if they use abilities that take energy, like, you get tired. So it's just kind of like the overall energy, so you don't have to buy twice as many food or anything like that if you have a passenger. They are selling a flashlight, which is nice. You can see the flashlight removes 1 threat at the start of the road during the night as well. I'm going to buy it. It's really good for when you're exploring, and it also, so you can go into caves, but it also, it removes threat at night, and it's just sitting there, and it just does that automatically for you. I think that I'm going to go ahead and get this fruit candy and put it in my glove box here. That looks good. I'm not going to buy anything else. Oh, here we go. They have a Save Mart. And, well, darn. Okay. I was hoping the Save Mart might have some coffee. The Save Mart, though, does have a pizza. A pizza is expensive, but it lasts just about forever in terms of eating. It's so great at that. Carrot. Chicken wings. Now, sometimes you see how the watermelon says cures starving? Some things cure hungry, and then some things cure starving. I think that things that cure starving can cure both, but hungry I don't believe can cure starving. It's like a bigger meal that you need. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's at least how I understand it. I'm not going to buy the pizza yet, but it's cool. It's not really rare or anything. They also have a garage. Okay, so welcome to the garage. You can install upgrades and customize your car here by clicking the Customize button. It's also the place to repair your car. We don't need to repair the car. It's doing just fine. But if you want to customize it, you see they lifted up here on the hydraulic lift, and you could start dragging in upgrades from your inventory into these different slots. They also sell, you could say they sell tires, they sell a toolbox, they sell multi-spray. I like sport tires because they remove one gas threat on motorways. And what you could do is you could check out the map and say, okay, where am I going? Well, I'm actually going to go on this country road to try to drop off this guy. And then we might be on this motorway moving this way, so new tires might be useful, but you don't have to get it. It is expensive. Let's not buy anything now because we're going to go to this country road. So I'm going to put this destination in here, St. Paul's, and you can see it's pretty close. Let's go. I am tired, but all that really does is make it so I can't restore all my energy just by eating. So it's not the end of the world. EPA. Okay, so the idiot organizes the threat because they're OCD, so they shifted it around. You can click on the portraits of your passengers to see their skills. So, you see how we just lost the threat? That's because it's nighttime and our flashlight took it down. And if you go up here to the rear view and you click on the idiot, you have unlocked a swift skill. When you use a swift skill, you automatically gain an extra turn, just as when you get a perfect hit. Now, we're already happy, which means we get additional potential extra turns during road events. So we don't need to use his ability. We could just kind of save it. The only thing we're going to get hit by is this gas threat. So what I'm going to do is have a go. And then we can new driver this. And because we're happy, you see how it says in the bottom, happy turn, we get an extra turn. And I just need to do something that would get rid of a green and might as well relax. Got it. We're in the zone and the idiot got some experience. In the zone means gas drain is decreased by 25%, which is great. There's some potholes coming up. It's a country road. Okay, so one gas threat gone. And we're still happy. I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what we did last time. Have a go. New driver. But this time, we actually need to either new driver or have a go. And I'll go ahead and have a go. Now, our energy is lowering. But I can just go ahead and eat this chocolate, get 2 energy back. You can click on the glove box and open and close it while you're driving. Abandoned car. This is a fun event because we get some supplies. It's a good way to make money. So they're organizing the threat, and it was already organized. So that ability that the idiot has, this is my first time ever having the idiot, but because if OCD means they're going to group them, then like the chewing gum is better, goes up in value. The multi-spray goes up in value. Things that can actually benefit from the threats being organized, we should get. So, for example, I'm just going to chewing gum that. And then I can new driver this. And I have one more to go. New driver is almost gone. So we'll use it, that's fine. And when you take out you're kind of like going through the car basically. And we found this upgrade which gives +2 max durability and protects against sunlight. So this is nice. It's a little shade. It's okay. And then we found some scrap, which you could just sell. You could sell things at any shop that allows it, as long as, like, Shops usually won't buy illegal items like drugs, but they will, you know, like the gas station can buy stuff, even though that doesn't make sense in real life that they would, but they do in this game. All right, I'm going to push escape and keep going. Roadkill. Is death the end, or do we go to heaven? If we do, roadkill must too, right? So, you know, just some fun conversation while we're driving. And we made it. So you can see that in the bottom right, the quest objective, visit Sis. It looks like Sis might be in a graveyard as we approach. We're hungry again, so let's just push I to open up our inventory, or click on the car and open it up, either way. And let me just eat this apple. Hungry is gone. And beautiful. So everyone, I think we're going to do these, you know, events here and see what happens and go where the road takes us. But I think this is a good first look at Keep Driving. We've explained how to look through the radial car menu, our quests, companions, how to do road encounters, how to buy, how to sell, what the status effects mean, how to manage our energy, our durability, our gas, and how to use the map, etc. to get around. And we're going to keep this series going so I could show you more of the game and explain the content as it emerges so that you can see if this is the kind of game you want to play, or if you are playing, you can get a bunch of questions that you had answered that aren't necessarily the most obvious or the most explained by the game. If you do have any questions that I didn't get to, please post those in the comments below so I can help you with the game. And if you are a Keep Driving expert and you'd like to share some tips for new players, that'd be awesome. Just make sure you do so in a way that's non-spoilery, so people who are new don't get overwhelmed or have any of the endings spoiled. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'll check you in the next one. Take care.